Learning the most important vocabulary is probably one of the best tricks that you are ever going to learn to help you to understand more and also speak with more fluency. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how many words people use when they're speaking on average versus all of the words that are in the English language. It's actually really surprising. Check this out. So the first thing that I want to show you is actually in the same lesson that you're watching this video in right now. You can just scroll down the page, and it's this box right here. And what this box is explaining is the difference between spoken vocabulary, vocabulary that's used on the radio, vocabulary that's used on television, and then this one here is actually all English words known, all English words that exist, everything in all types of media, including written English, okay? So you can see here that with only 822 words, obviously very common words, you can understand 90% of spoken English. And if we do 1,849 words, you're going to be able to understand 95% of spoken English. I can tell you that if you know more than 80% of what's being said to you, you are going to be able to understand what the person is saying. You will be guessing in some areas, but you will be able to understand the general idea very, very easily. So if you can understand 95% of every single word that someone is saying with less than 2,000 words, that is definitely a goal that you can easily achieve. And it also explains why it's more difficult for you to understand things like movies, okay? Movies use a lot of slang, they have different accents, different expressions are used in movies, and there are also more words that are used. So that's why it's easier to understand someone that's speaking to you in a conversation compared to when you're watching a movie. So in this next part here, this shows you the different levels of English and the type of vocabulary that those students typically have. So at an A1 level, you can see here that the student has 350 words on average, and that's someone that's brand new to English. They're just learning. This level here, you've learned a bit of grammar, and it looks like you have close to 950 words. Now, if you watched the first video where I was talking about my experience with learning languages, I probably had close to 3,000 words, which is somewhere down here, upper intermediate to lower advanced, and I couldn't understand everybody because I hadn't learned the right words or the most common vocabulary. So this is a very common thing that happens. But anyway, at an elementary level, you're expected to have about 1,000 words, intermediate is close to 2,000, and advanced is closer to 4,000. So these are the amount of words that a language learner should know as they're continuing to progress with their studies. But I can assure you that in our conversations, you will be exposed to the most common words that you need, and it's going to help you to learn those 1,000 words very, very quickly that you need to understand 90% of the English that you will hear in a conversation.